Hi. Uh, I believe 28th of January, President Trump is going to give a speech to Union, and that we think it should be analyzed at the end of the 2 year how the U.S. foreign policy been, I would say, shifted, or how it has been compiled under one umbrella. Now, in 2016, once he has been elected as a president for United States, maybe we have missed one major point about President Trump. Compared with the other presidents like Obama, Clinton, and Bush, he has a very strict understanding of foreign policy. He has openly debated on the trade deficits between China and the United States and his solutions in that manner. He has said that the Iranian agreement with the United States about the nuclear arms are not good enough or not beneficial for U.S. interests, and it should be either it should be all cancelled or it should be modified. And he has been arguing that how the Korean problem should be solved. He has been criticizing all the members of NATO that they are not contributing good enough, and all the burdens are met by United States economy, and how it's not good enough for them. So compared with all other previous presidents of the United States, he has a very much unique idea about the foreign relations. But once he has been elected, what has taken our interest that President Trump was not ready at that moment to select his, let's say, I would say, partners in terms of minister or secretary of state in the United States called as, to work with. We have seen Tillerson, we have seen James Mattis as a defense minister or secretary, Taylor Rex in terms of foreign secretary or state secretary, and then we have an economy also counselor. But as of today, now we have seen new names around him. Bolton is his national counselor, advisor. And we have seen now Pompeo as his new state secretary, and we are now having a new defense secretary in the region. And what the most important, unique, common thing about them is their loyalty, their trust to President Trump, despite the fact that there might be some kind of differences within the group, I will say, and also including now the departments. The voices that we have been hearing or started hearing from Trump administration becomes more unified, more unique, and more under one umbrella it has been collected. So what we have realized by the action taken by President Trump is that he has chosen his cabinet, I would say, members who will not minimize the effect of his decision, but who will maximize the effect of his decision. And that's a unique change in between 2000, let's say, or start with his presidency in 2017 and as of today. Now, that's why the predictability of US foreign actions starting by 2019 will be more predictable. It was not before predictable because of the differences within departments, within the cabinet members of United States, and that makes the United States a little bit living with full of question marks, if you wish to hear. But now we are hearing more unique actions, more one voice from the United States, which makes it more predictable. That's why we are predicting that now United States is going to put pressure on China to end or to conclude, let's say, the trade discussions between China and US. Now, the intellectual rights are the most important, including the entrance of or the market entrance to market, the Chinese market, because the Chinese companies can enter the United States with full, I would say, privilege given by state. But however, the American companies or any other European companies elsewhere cannot enter the Chinese economy because they have barriers to go by or to pass over. Like taxes and other things. So this is not fair, this is not with the spirit of the globalization, and I believe President Trump has a right focus on that. So now by increasing the taxes for some goods to apply to Chinese products, in reality, he has also given some damage to his own economy, to the United States economy, but he has given more damage to Chinese economy. But at the end, this trade, I would say, conflict is not good for both states, and that's our projection that most likely in 2019, maybe at mid 2020, this is going to end, and this is going to be concluded in a good manner, that they will both agree with some kind of agreement or mutual agreement benefits. We have been now hearing that China is resuming back to global trade agreements. They don't want to be put aside, or they don't want to be put behind, because the rules of the trade is now changing, especially the United States is pushing this too much, especially because of the intellectual rights, which personally and also we believe that United States has a right approach about this. Most of the intellectual rights of the products has been stolen, and they have been changed, not greatly, but some appearance and some minor things, and then they have been produced and sold to other countries and companies. And United States, therefore, and including some European companies and countries, they have been not benefiting. They have met with some kind of loss, and that's very important for the security of the country. So that's very understandable from the United States that they are putting this pressure, and the reason why TPP is very much around now the intellectual right is due to this reason. That's why now China is resuming back to global trade agreement, including the e-trade, because they don't want to have, or they don't want to, also the other countries, they don't want to put private or special rules to China and Chinese companies, and China doesn't want to be left behind. So we have now been seeing the some effect of the United States trade, let's say, barrier applied to China, and most likely they will also somehow agree with some conditions. Now, having said that, we are also estimating that once Trump thinks that the Chinese trade agreement is on the way, we assume that he is going to confine the Russia as today, or a little bit more even severely, but he is going to concentrate on Iran. And that's why we are predicting that the United States will encourage some Arab states to make an alliance like NATO. Now, is this going to be effective or not? Our prediction indicate that this is not going to be effective. First of all, the Arab countries cannot work together due to some historical reasons, and the second thing is that there is one common thread for Arabs that combine them. They might make an alliance, and this might be Iran. However, this is applicable for a couple of countries, but not for all. If you think Jordan and Iran, Jordan has no problem with Iran. They have some distance, and basically they don't have any bad relations. But if you put Saudis and the Emirates into the microscope, then you are going to see that yes, they feel the threat by Iranian authorities. And if you look at the Egypt as an Arab state that might be included in this NATO kind of NATO alliances, then Egypt and Iran also, they don't have very much difficulties or problems between each other due to these threats, concerns. So that's why there is no main reason why they might come together. other than only one reason it can be, and it should be about the Arab nationality or the ID could be protected. But in terms of today's politics, we do not see that it might happen also, because then there is a lot of problems between many states, multiple states or bilateral levels, that these nationality ID cannot be put as a one common goal that these kind of military alliances can be formed. That's why this cannot be formed, and it's going to most likely fail. Even not fail, it will not be effective. That's why the problem between Iran and the American authorities will go on, and there will be other solutions will be in table, but we will discuss this following 2020. When it comes to Russia, United States is going to confine Russia as today. They are putting pressure on German authorities to end the Nord Stream line. That's going to provide gas from Russia to Germany. But due to the problems of or they need the demand for the gas, Germany is not going to stop this project. They have been openly saying to or telling to United States authorities that they are not going to do this. Now coming to the Middle East, there are a lot of things that Trump now has a unique voice. They want to withdraw their soldiers from Syria, and they will do it to some level, but not everything, not everybody. And they will keep some minimum requirement to watch and to monitor the region in Syria, and also to protect the Kurds. And that's why it's going to create also some bilateral problems between, let's say, United States and Turkey in future, because Turkey is either with United States or with United States is going to I would say step into to northern Syria, and they will push the terrorists, including ISIS and PKK, YPG ones. So that will create some kind of tension between United States and Turkey in future. But United States also is aware that they cannot be everywhere at the same time. So we will see how they are going to manage this tension. And about the United States in 2020 or 2021, we are hoping, we are predicting that there will be more unique voices, that it will be much more predictable. But now this one thing that was creating some kind of advantage to Trump is unpredictability is now gone. But we have seen the United States now back on the stage, but it's not very much different still. If you look at the Clintons or Bush or Obama era, the only difference is the Iran. The others are more or less, it was understandable, predictable, and it was as it is. But the only difference is, major difference is Iran, it will be. So we will closely monitor how the relations between Iran and the United States will evolve.